Hi, and welcome to another episode of Muscle Matters. As you see, my co-host Eric and I, we're rocking the lovely DJ headphones because Tom is throwing us a curveball. Josh, fire that curveball up before we get started with this episode of Muscle Matters.
Oh, and I'd like people to stop coming up to me on the street saying, you killed Han Solo. I didn't kill Han Solo. Wokeness killed Han Solo.
Okay, we're all nerds in this building, so do not be shocked that we have this going on because we're all nerds in this one. I'll let you go first, Eric. How do you feel about that? Because I'm a giant nerd and I've gone down the rabbit hole in that thing.
Yeah, you know what? It was definitely, in my opinion, a disappointing scene in the movie. You know, it wasn't what I had expected. You heard rumors and whatnot, but not what I would have, as a true Star Wars fan, not what I wanted, not what I was hoping for. I really, love Han Solo as a character, probably my favorite character within the whole, the whole landscape of Lucas. But yeah, you know what? I'm not going to comment directly on that video yet, Steve, because I want to hear some insight from you.
All right, so I've gone down the rabbit hole because, like you, that broke my heart. I was a child watching Star Wars, wallpaper, the whole 9 yards. I stood in line, made my grandma take me like 7-8 times to watch it. So Han Solo was a part of my life. The pirate, he was in Legends. I've read tons of Legend books. He lives a very long, healthy life.
Yeah. Yep. Him and Chewie.
There's a very interesting interview out there where George Lucas's wife actually comments on Han Solo dying, and she comes to tears because she's like, "You guys don't get Star Wars." Now, I did not understand Han Solo dying, and that's me watching number 7. I was like, "Oh, bruh, you guys are tripping." But now that I've watched 8 and 9, the rumor was Harrison wanted to kill Han Solo.
I'd heard that.
So if you see episodes 8 and 9, did Harrison understand where they were going with this series? It was like, no, let's kill Solo now. Why he still got street
Don't
cred.
involve me in what's coming.
He still has street cred. Let's kill him off now while he's still cool. Because you looked at how bad they nerfed Luke. It was like, Luke is like, and if you're a Legends person, Luke is all powerful.
Yeah.
And they just totally nerfed him in number 8. It was like, we waited for that.
Yeah.
To see him watch him drink blue cow milk. So I'm going to go, I won't blame it on being woke. I'll blame it on Kathleen Kennedy.
I think plain and simple. Yeah. That is, she's one who calls the shots.
Yes, she does.
Yes,
she does. And,
the wokeness was an addition that she added into these current Star Wars films that, again, we could have a whole separate discussion on.
Yes.
But the Han Solo death was, unfortunate and really, in my opinion, a bad decision on her part. But like you're saying, if the rumors are true that Harrison did not want to continue on, if he kind of knew what the script was later on, I kind of don't blame him either.
Yeah, let me out.
Yeah, I would have probably told him to kill me too.
Yes, I'm pretty sure Mark Hamill felt the same way. Like, hey, can I go out like that too? Like,
somehow.
All right, so today's episode of Muscle Matters, we're gonna talk about a little bit about social media. We've covered this before, but we're gonna cover it through Eric. If you're not familiar, Eric, does you and your workout partner have a YouTube channel, correct?
Yeah. Not as active right now, but yeah, we've done a handful of videos, especially the past 2 years, really kind of chronicle, just documenting our training series. Also, Nacho doing his Road to the Cal. Basically, his whole prep files are on YouTube right now.
So since we have done it before, I think it's good to do it with somebody that has a better spin on modern social media. It's Muscle Matters. We'll be right back. Oh, you're not gonna put the banner up?
We're still here.
I guess we're not coming right back.
We're going nowhere.
Banner in 3, 2, and 1. Back. I really hope that goes on a gag reel or something. You guys got to have these lined up somewhere where we can put them back out. But welcome back to Muscle Matters. So I'm going to hijack like the first couple of minutes of Muscle Matters because we're going to go social media, and I'm going to ask Tom a lot of questions off camera. He wasn't prepared for this. I'm throwing this off cue. So social media, television presence. The first time we went over this, Eric, we went down different movie stars, and we used television as a way of sparking muscles. Lou Ferrigno, Steve Reeves, and the plethora of those guys that were on. But social media, it's more about monetizing and marketing and be able to get yourself out and make money for yourself and be your own business.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of my take on it. Is the positive side basically, unless you were dubbed worthy by the magazines, by the powers that be, who controlled the television,
Yes.
you had no real presence.
Yes.
Right. Back in the day, the beauty of social media is that everybody has a presence.
Yes.
It comes with pros and cons. But yeah, if you are just an aspiring bodybuilder who maybe's not made it to a level that is, going to get you the sponsorships and the endorsements by these big media companies, then social media is your bread and butter. People can still see you, every day, as much as you want to post. They can even interact with you depending on how active you want to be with that. So you can really build up a strong fan base from being present on social media.
So if you think back to some of the originals, I will say a guy like Charles Atlas was probably one of the, I don't know how familiar you are with Charles Atlas. He had a program that was in every comic book.
Okay.
It was the guy with a little comic book strip. He ran, he kicked the guy, sand in the guy's face. I'm going to get some muscle and come back and I'm gonna beat up the bully and get the girl.
I feel like I've seen some of this on
Yeah. So that was something like there. So I think he could be considered probably one of the pioneers of social media, because in every comic book, every magazine, there he was. And it was his comic strip illustrating his plan, which was literally a bottle of D-ball and some push-ups. Believe it or not, it really was. And then we'll fast forward. We'll kind of jump along, and I'm trying to, I ate a lot of paint chips as a kid, and I've been punched in the head a lot. I don't have the best memory, so we'll jump ahead to say Jack LaLanne, and let's say Jack LaLanne was probably one of the first televised meatheads. Because believe it or not, Jack LaLanne had an outstanding physique. Have you ever seen him without his without that leotard on?
No, I don't think I have.
Oh, Jack is very much Frank Zane ripped.
Wow.
Yeah, he's got a stellar physique, but in that leotard, they'd have took Jack's shirt off one time as a child, I would have probably watched every one of his episodes. So Jack was in everybody's living room, everybody making money, and you think about it, for years he wore that blue leotard for years. I don't know who his manager was, but that's what he wore. And I'm gonna move real fast so I can get to Eric. From there, I would say Wide World of Sports. Once again, you're not old enough to remember the Wide World of Sports. Sports. They had different athletes that would come on and compete in the World's Strongest Man. You're familiar with the World's Strongest Man competition. So they would have, you had Lou Ferrigno, Franco Colombo, a plethora of NFL players, and they would come on and they would do this thing every Saturday, Tom?
Yeah.
Every Saturday they would be up there, and it was something. And then you fast forward to the first televised muscle star. And I'm going to say the first televised muscle star was Bill Kazmaier. How would you feel about that, Tom?
I would go with Bill.
Because Bill, have you ever watched any of his old strongman?
I've seen some of.
He's quite a character. So that people were attracted to that because he played the heel role really, really well. And he sold himself really, really well. Then we'll skip forward to the next person was I'm going blank on the big sir, it's still the old Sigmund von Paul, I believe his name. You see his slogan, if you can't deadlift, why bother living at all? He probably was the next one. And I'm gonna move really fast. If I'm talking fast, forgive me. I'm moving it right along so I'm not hijacking the show on nostalgia. From there, there was the show that you did, Tom, where you were the guest speaker, or you were the speaker, and then you passed it on.
ESPN Muscle Magazine.
So there was ESPN Muscle Magazine. From ESPN Muscle Magazines, they had a great show. Have you ever watched the Flex Magazine workouts?
I mean, I've read a ton of them in the magazines, but no, I haven't watched.
They literally had a televised program, and it was you had the likes of Sean Ray and different.
You know what? I have seen. Yeah, they're still wearing the leotards.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you had that. So that would be a little more social media, getting more presence out there.
Yep.
But there was.
There's one you missed.
Which one was that?
Rick Valente's Hawaii show.
Yes.
Let's Get in Shape.
Yes, where he would jump around. He would jump, and he was actually really good.
Decent bodybuilder.
Yes, he was a really good size guy, and but you had to get up at like what was it, 4:30 in the morning? He came on. Yeah, you had to be up at the break of dawn to watch these shows because the ESPN aired them early.
Not main time.
So a lot of times when I watch Flex, yes,
I had a lot of people that were in the maternity ward that said, "Hey, I saw you on ESPN last night."
yeah, and that's when most of the time when I watch Flex magazine is because I was coming home.
Yep.
I was coming home and like, hey, Flex is on. I'm gonna watch this E-Tack in the box. So that was, that was my early life. So I mean, you think about, there was no monetizing then. Like you said, it had to be handed down. So Flex magazine was controlled by the Weeders. The Weeders would put on their athletes. So you look, and then I would say it really didn't gain popularity until the DVD age.
Yeah. Yep.
So, and I think the most popular one was the kickstart this was Dorian Yates.
Yeah, the Blood and Guts. Yep.
That was
Still
a must-have.
those.
That was a must-have video. Was the Blood and Guts. From Blood and Guts, you went to
Was that Ronnie's?
you had Ronnie's,
he had a few, 3 or 4 of them, and Jay had a couple as
Yeah.
well.
but Jay wasn't as entertaining as
Right. Jay was more about business.
yeah. So I mean, you had. I mean, it was. And then I remember. So we're still YouTubing it. We haven't made it to social media yet. We're still YouTubing it. From the YouTube series, Johnny Jackson and
Yep.
Branch Warren, they were must-watch television.
all the Metroflex. Yeah.
They were must-watch television. They put something out every week. So we're all the way in the 2000s
This
before we
gotta
came.
be 2004 to 6 area.
And so this is about the time that YouTube is starting to pay people for their views.
Yeah.
So you've got these guys that are out there, and then the Rich Piana and CT Fletcher.
yeah, I think Rich really. I mean, those two at the same time.
Yeah.
But Rich made waves.
Yes.
And I think the beauty of Rich was he was just posting what he did.
Yes.
His day to day.
Yes.
That was really the first person I remember just doing this in my life. The life of Rich Piana, without stating it exactly that way.
And they were the first non-competitors. And not to say that they didn't compete, because CT competed in
Yeah.
powerlifting and Rich competed in bodybuilding, but they were no longer actively competing.
Yeah, right. They did this all after they were done.
Yeah. And they were the first quote unquote non-competitors to
So we'll call them influencers.
that's where I'm going.
Yep.
They were
Okay.
the first
Gotcha.
ones to become influencers, because Rich did a new video every Saturday, and I believe CT's did his on Friday, correct?
I believe that was right. Yeah.
So you
Once a
had
week.
2 brand new videos every weekend, and they were there, and they were must watch. You
Oh,
had to sit down and watch it. They were the afternoon watch before I went to the gym.
Yep.
You
Get
get up
you
in the,
hyped before you go work
yes.
out.
Or then you like I said, Branch and Johnny. Were there any that you liked on YouTube that I missed?
Man, I mean, I watched a ton. I was a huge Flex Lewis fan. He's
Mhm.
a little bit newer, but around the same time. So anything that guy would post, and most of his early stuff was done through like Gaspari,
Yes.
then BSN, and then I think that's when he went out on his own after that, Yamamoto. But yeah, basically whatever those companies would put out for them or with them.
Yeah, but I want to get away from the companies.
Got it. Yep.
And I
Any
wanna-
of the influencers.
Where they're actually influencers,
Yeah.
not paid advertisers.
Got it.
'Cause, I mean, Flex was still, before he broke out his own.
Sure, he was still
he
under
was still
a
a paid.
brand.
Yes, he was still a paid advertiser, and he wasn't making monetary. He wasn't making money.
Yep.
From that, I would say Mountain Dog was probably the first one to come with knowledge.
I guess that's true. Yeah. So I was always feeding for more of the knowledge based
Uh-huh.
guys. So yeah, Mountain Dog, John Meadows was, rest in peace, still one of my favorites of all times. Matt Porter is another newer
Yes.
guy who I was a huge fan of.
But he didn't really put out enough content.
Yeah, I didn't find a ton of his stuff till
Yes.
after his death, unfortunately,
Yes.
too. But he was starting to do. He was one of the first guys I remember doing a lot of selfie videos. He'd do like driving with Matt Porter, or I forgot what he called it exactly, but he just post up his phone in the car, drive and talk. So it was a lot of the just real raw. Here I am, not no production team, nothing, and here's what I'm just talking about whatever knowledge you wanted to drop.
Now we're going to transition from the positive part of social media into the negative part of social media, still on YouTube.
Yeah.
What was Mr. 3cc?
Oh man, Boston Lloyd.
Boston Lloyd.
Yeah, another RIP. Remembering right?
He became, and he made his money. So when I say negative, don't put me to plot. But he put out a lot of bad information.
Yeah.
A lot of bad information. A lot of abusive information was put out through him.
Yeah, that could go, and that's kind of one of the main negatives I see of everybody having a platform.
Yes.
Not everybody is deserving of a platform to use it as an influence on people. Now, with Boston Lloyd, what him, saying what he does, I have no problem with that.
Mhm.
Him now suggesting that other people should do the same is where there's a line that's being crossed.
Mhm.
Again, he was my age. He was 22 when he was
Yes.
putting out the stuff, and the amounts of gear he was running and
Yes.
promoting that other
Yes.
people should do,
Yes.
it was astronomical.
Yes.
It-
So you got a guy like that who's showing everybody there's a different way to make money.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the snake venom came out, where social media now we're just going to jump right into modern. I mean,
Yeah.
the longer I
bridge
walk
with-
down and try to go and walk you through, we're going to go straight to the TikTok. 'Cause that's where it's at. We're going straight to TikTok. IG is pretty much a dead doornail. It's so
Yep. I'm still in that. I never branched over to TikTok for other reasons, but
it's so
well, with TikTok, the pros and the cons, you can digest a lot of information very quickly,
Mhm.
but none of it's in depth.
yes.
So you lose context,
Yes.
right? So I might say you need to run X, Y, and Z, but that 30-second clip, that's all you heard,
Yes.
because I didn't have time to explain when or why you would use it or for who I'm talking to.
Well, and that's why I tell a lot of people, I said, you got to be careful when you watch things on TikTok. Just real quick, because we're going to knock this out and then we're going to go back to social media. A lot of things you watch on TikTok, you have to be real careful of, because people ask me questions and I go, what's their code? And they look and go, what do you mean? I go, what is their code? If they're telling you this is bad, they got to tell you something is good, because there's only two brands of people that'll tell you that want you to buy their stuff, or people who don't want you to buy stuff at all.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, you have to figure out what is their marketing ploy, and a lot of that, and that's the negative things, because you have guys that get on there and they'll PhD it up, but they're PhDing it up so to get you to use their code. So I want to traverse away from that and go back to the fun of social media.
Yeah.
So I want to get back to the fun part of social media. So it started off with Instagram, where people were getting thousands of views when Instagram was really good.
Right.
When they were letting you just rock and roll. And before there was the fun checkers, I won't even use the correct words, before the fun checkers came along, and before you couldn't say things, you could laugh, you could joke, you could actually have fun, and where the exercise was actually rewarded.
Yep.
A good, and now
You got to be careful, or you're going to be blacklisted, essentially.
and you're just talking to yourself.
Yep.
So tell me a little bit how you feel about, because I did a long speech before. How do you feel about the Instagram? How did it make you feel when in your bodybuilding career, when you started off and having that ability? Because I didn't have that ability. By the time it came around, I was in my 40s.
Yeah. I didn't ever utilize it. Well, let me back up. So I've never been the best on social media, have a hard time just taking photos, for example, which is what Instagram was all about at the beginning. You didn't write much. You just had a photo that you post, right? And then it kind of evolved to having, the descriptions underneath, et cetera. But what I really liked about it, and still what I use it for, is I get a lot of information from it.
Mhm.
There's certain people I follow that post regularly, kind of what we're talking about with bodybuilders, who, I want to hear what they have to say. I trust their information. So they put it out, and it's an easy way for me to get it, right?
Yes.
That's what I've always liked it for. And then also at the time when I was really into following, especially all the amateur competitors, I could keep up.
You can't find them anymore.
Oh, no.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's crazy. Bodybuilding is pretty much dead because you can't find any competitors.
Oh, yeah. You'll just find the influencers.
Yes.
Yeah. Or there might be competitors, but they're just an influential competitor. Yeah. You
Yes.
can't find just, for example, if I was on there, it's hard to find just me.
Yes. It's one of the things social media has been great, but I miss magazines.
Yeah.
I miss magazines. I mean, I remember sitting in the line at Walmart, Albertsons, or whatever you want to be, and picking up a Flex magazine and knowing I have no idea. Like, people ask me questions. I'm like, I have no clue who these guys are.
Oh, yeah. Who's top 5 at the USA? I might know the top 1, 2, but
I could knew the top 20.
Yeah.
I knew who was coming. This guy's coming, but now it's just like,
there's so much again. I think it's just too much. You have to really search for it.
and then you have a young man like Sam Sulek.
Yep.
He's a 1%er, but he's nowhere near competitive. And you have so many people going, oh, wow. And it's like, no, bro, he's not there yet.
Yeah. One note on him. I think he really just did the Rich Piana. You know,
very much.
which I love
Very
you know?
much. And I was just talking about that today with a young man, and we were talking about Sam. I go, Sam has everything to lose to compete. He will
Yeah.
never compete because he has everything to lose. A lot
Too
of
high
like
expectations.
there was a guy back in the day, Vic Richards.
I know the name.
Vic Richards was man, he was the first 300-pound beast. When you looked at Vic, you just went, oh my God, they make humans that big. And he was you know, so much of today's bodybuilder gets washed out with oil.
Yeah.
He had 35-inch thighs with like zero, like it's like
Yep.
those were
Solid.
just meat.
Muscle.
And so with him, he was crowned he was the uncrowned Mr. Olympia.
Yeah.
So for him to compete, he had everything to lose because all of his money was based on his mythos.
Mm.
So you got a young man like Sam, all his money is based on his mythos.
Yep.
So for him to compete, he's got no reason to it. So that's the great thing about social media today is you can get a young man like that who can make this money, because back in the day, Sam would have to go get on the stage.
Oh yeah.
He would have to kill himself in order to get liked and hope somebody sees him and play the rules to hope he got $1, to hope he got a contract. That young man, he has to be making, I'm going to say, an easy $15,000 a month just based on social media.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and what is
he
he,
used to
20
just live his life.
what is he, 21, 22?
Yeah, maybe
If that-
22.
if that
yeah, I
old-
think maybe 22. now.
Yeah, I mean, and
He's got-
he gets to
young.
do what everybody wants to do at that age, be able to work out and enjoy your life.
Yep.
I mean, that's a great thing. And I think that's one of the great things about social media. Now, you and Nacho, you guys are workout partners, and you guys, and that's why I really wanted to talk about that with you. How do you feel that the road to the cow helped you guys, hurt you guys, whatever it was doing your series? How did that, I mean,
Yeah. You know, it was all okay. So typically I'd say filming distracts you,
Mhm.
right? And there's a couple times that maybe it was a distraction. Typically I would be the one, because I wasn't prepping for a show. I'd be the one to kind of I would take the camera, and Nacho could still train,
Yes.
to kind of let him just focus on what he needed to do. It was really done just as a documentation for ourselves.
Yes.
You know, and then we put it up there, and if people wanted to watch, they did. You know, we'd hear to your face, you hear only good things,
Yes.
right? And then you hear negative things behind your back.
Yes.
And that's just the nature of what you're doing.
Yes.
You know, anyone who posts,
Yes.
even Sam, you're going to have negative, you
Right.
know, comments. And that's just what it
Yes.
is. You just have to brush it off and
Yes.
keep doing what you do. Like I said, it was really more of this is something that we don't know how many more times we're going to do it. You know, maybe this is his last show. Maybe he's got 2 more, 5 more, who knows, right? But, you know, and what I've realized in my own life too is I don't take a lot of pictures, but there's a lot of times I look back and wish I had. So this is one of those, like, this is just now an archive of a part of our life, a time in our life when we might not have another opportunity to do it again.
Now, and I'm going to keep harping on this. Don't forgive me if it bothers you. But now, when you guys, you were training for a show. So the one thing most people don't understand is show training is absolutely boring.
Oh yeah.
You're just going to go in and you're just going to do this set thing because you're getting ready for a show. Now, when you guys are shooting these videos, did you feel the urge to do some sort of social media movement to kind of like?
Great question. So no, we try to keep it as real as possible.
Okay.
There was a video we did though for the gym, for Collective Gyms, and we were asked to basically hype it up,
Yeah.
fake it basically.
Yeah.
Which we did, and as you would expect, minor injuries occurred. You know, and that is part of the problem, right? And so that's, you know, like I said, in our videos, in our YouTube videos, we didn't fake anything. That was legit our training.
Yes.
We didn't change it for the video. I actually still get crap from Nacho for not even matching my clothes in some of the videos. He's like, "Dang, dude, you're wearing blue shorts and a green shirt." And you know, that's just who I am. I don't care that much. But so that's how much we didn't really prepare for the videos or do anything extra.
Okay.
But you know, like I said, there was one video, and we were only doing one set just on a few different exercises just to showcase. But you know, it was, you know, go blood and guts, you know, yelling at each other, you know, amping, go extra, doing drop sets that we never do, like, you know, just being a little bit ridiculous for the video, for social media. And yeah, ultimately kicked us in the butt a little bit. Still have a shoulder nag from that. So, you know, lessons learned. It's not ever worth it. You know?
Yeah. So, and that's what, and the reason I kept saying is I see so many people that train, and a lot of their movements are social media movements.
Yeah.
You'll see these movements, and you're like, doing absolutely nothing, but and then you'll see and you look up and see 15 people in the gym doing it.
Oh yeah.
So that's why I was like, did you guys feel like we need to do something that's like we would never do this on the regular, but let's throw it in the video to get like an extra view or two?
Yeah, no, there's not one that I can think of.
Okay,
yeah, not one
good.
exercise that we did that was out of our structured plan.
Good. So overall, social media, how do you feel like it helped you guys? I mean, do you feel like it gave you a better track going into the show? Because I know nowadays, back in the day, you had to go down to Weeder's office, correct, Tom?
I did.
You would have to go stand in front of Jim. You'd have to go stand in front of Weeder. You'd have to go stand in front of these Steve.
First time I ever saw Joe Weeder, he just said, "Take off your shirt, give me a double bicep. I heard your biceps are good."
Uh-huh.
And I took off my shirt. He gave me a double bicep.
Yeah, so you had to like go and to these promoters and kind of like show yourself off to get an inside track.
Oh, yeah.
Well, where you guys today can put up a video and hashtag such and such production, such and such, to bring light to their show, to kind of like garner attention. Do you feel like that? Did you feel like that might have helped Nacho going into the show, or maybe put a number on his back?
I don't really think it did either, to be honest.
Okay.
And I think that's kind of just where social media is and was at the time. It's so polluted. And I don't mean that in a negative way. There's just so much out there, right? That even if you're trying to tag the promoters or the producers of anything, you may not even get seen, even though you're directly trying to comment to them. But that being said, one thing I'll say for myself is, as a bodybuilder, it was more of just to kind of give the audience a view of what I was doing. But as a coach, right or wrong, it basically gave extra credit.
Okay.
to me. So there was positives from a business standpoint for myself. And even training with Nacho, right? He has a bigger reach than I do as far as people. And, he does garner a lot of attention from the athletes, which is my direct clientele. So them seeing me in those videos definitely would help to boost my
Let's
clientele.
transition away from the personal training and let's transition into you using social media for the new gym.
Yeah.
Now you guys shoot videos in there, right? Now, do you guys invite people to come down and shoot the videos for you guys?
Yeah. So we, especially at the beginning, we had two guys that we would work with to do videos for us. And, admittedly, I'm not the most creative. So I would I'd kind of give them an idea of what I wanted. And I'd let them run wild with it and just kind of tell me what to do. Right.
Okay.
I'll be the talent, for lack of a better term, which is how I prefer to do all these things. Social media is really what made the gym as far as the advertising of the gym. We did zero real advertisement besides social media. So everything, all the pre-sales we had, all the memberships that, even for the first 6 months, all due to social media. The cool thing about, we set the gym up to be more of a social media gym as well. And like I mentioned earlier, a different episode is, people want to take pictures for themselves and they want to post it and they want to tag the gym. And that's just more marketing for the gym.
Yes.
So it's a snowball effect, in that sense.
I'm sorry if I thought maybe for whatever reason, I thought you guys actually shot content videos for the gym. Like you would put up Instagram videos where you had people come in and work out.
Yeah. So before we opened doors, actually before we even had 3/4 of the gym set up, we had one corner of the gym, which is now our leg room, that was mostly done, right? The walls were painted, the floor was clean, and we moved just random equipment in there. So because we wanted to get some sort of pre-sale momentum, so we invited, I think, 13, 15 people and just said, hey, work out. We had 2 videographers there that day. We basically kind of split up into groups and they would film a few different people here, go over to the next group, film a few different people there, just so people kind of get an idea of what the gym is going to be like. So that was kind of the first, what we did for videos at the gym. There was a few different, I don't want to say series because they never got that far, but there's a few different ideas.
So you guys were planning on doing a series?
Yes. So we had the Collective Raw series. Okay. Right. I think we did 2, maybe 3 videos, So what we were supposed to do in there was showcase different individuals who were either at the gym, typically who were at the gym. They were either bodybuilders, lifestyle people. One was myself as well, more from the coaching standpoint and the gym owner standpoint. So we tried to make those kind of like a real and raw. It was all black and white, just wanted to, So it was a really great idea. Honestly, we just need to continue forward with that. We lost that videographer. So that's why kind of ended, but that was really cool. Yeah, actually, we did do 3. So yeah, one was a guy named Ben Galvin, bodybuilder, local bodybuilder in town, and a huge weight loss transformation prior to becoming a bodybuilder. So kind of got his video, which was awesome. We did one for me, like I was saying, more for the coaching and the owner side of the gym. And then we had this other video of these 2 girls who were local trainers as well. And they're more of the lifestyle trainers. So we didn't want to just be bodybuilding because we wanted to,
you don't want to be a one. You don't want to be rabbit holes.
Yeah. We don't want to have it a niche,
Yeah.
but we don't want to be so small that it
Yeah.
excludes other people.
Yes.
So yeah, those were really cool because it was more of a personal, like, hey, let's get to know you. It was an interview and then clips of them working out or us working out. But majority was more of an interview type of setting.
Cool. And so you feel like that really helped your gym where 20 years ago, if there was no social media, it would have been a little rougher.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. The name would have not gone out there as fast as it did if we didn't have social media.
Cool. So I don't know. You got anything else you want to add?
I mean, we can keep going on this one, but social media, pros and cons, basically I think it's an amazing outlet for advertisement. And I'm using that as a broad term of advertisement,
Yes.
advertising yourself, advertising a business you might have, advertising a brand that you want to support, even if
Yes.
you're with that brand or not. There's a lot of times that the rare time I do post, I like to just throw up something that I believe in. I talked about creatine the other week.
And you have, I was just thinking about how many small businesses that literally survive on Instagram and social media where they would have never had a chance. So many t-shirt companies that you see out there. What are there, like 9 t-shirt companies
In town? Oh man,
maybe
yeah,
10.
probably at least 9.
Mark's wife just opened one up. It's a Christian t-shirt. Golly, Forgiven, I believe is the name of it. It's off the Dirty Book line. She's got some shirts coming that are really cool. These places would have a really hard time without social media. So I think social media is great. A lot of us old timers we're grumpy in the pants and want to tell the kids to move out of the way. But I personally think social media is great. I think it's a great idea. I wish it was around when I was young. I would have had a lot of fun with it. Doing some amazing things. I probably wouldn't be broke today. I'd have some money. I could have been rich before he was rich. But you look at things like that. I think social media is an awesome way to go. And I really think this new generation where and I say we because, my generation's Tom's generation, everybody from there didn't have a chance to make it. There were so many guys that were fabulous, but they weren't allowed to cross over. Yeah. If they would have had an opportunity just to market themselves, and you look at all the individual bodybuilders that now have their own companies.
Oh yeah.
That they just, because of social media, Rich Piana, once again, he was the first one with his Kill It brand.
Kill It. Yep.
And he started off with a hat. I remember when he walked over from Mutant and it was just like, and he's like, hey, I was like, really? He's like, yeah. I was like, oh.
Nice. Yep.
And so, we were the second people that actually had his brand.
Yeah.
So it was real cool that I had a friendship with him like that, but it was really cool.
I'd say the only thing I want to add is the kind of on the negative side of social media.
Okay. I was trying to avoid it, but go.
Yeah. I just feel like it needs to be said.
Yes.
Real life is real life. And social media is virtual life. You can put all the positives of your life on social media. And this is where I think a lot of people who view that, they start judging themselves based off of seeing how happy and how perfect you make your life seem online. And it really gets to people in the real life. Because the truth is we all have ups and downs in life. We all don't live a perfect life. And we all, so I'd like to see a little more relatability, or maybe less of, and again, you don't need to put your problems on social media per se.
That's Facebook.
Facebook,
Facebook.
leave it off Instagram, but again, like trying to paint yourself to be this, having this perfect, the white picket fence with the 2 dogs and the, the family and, everyone's happy go lucky all the time. Like that's not reality, so use social media in a way that can influence and maybe help people positively, but be careful that, maybe you're not giving the wrong impression, because there are a lot of people that I know that base how they feel, right or wrong, off of how they're judging other people being on social media.
Basically, don't let a light go to your head.
Yep.
And be a real person is what you're saying, right? Because you see so many people.
Well, again, I think
it's based on whatever that.
Yeah.
People don't like me, and it's off that when they.
Yes.
When you're
I only got 5 likes on my photo.
And you're like a person life.
And it kind of sidestepping on the same path is missing these in-person conversations. I feel like a lot of people have conversations through DM or even through maybe a virtual, like a video, but having face-to-face conversations is priceless.
Yes. Yes. But like I said, there's the good and the bad. The good is you have an opportunity to promote and make money for yourself without having to be used and abused in this industry, which is it's a use abuse industry. But at the same time, don't be swallowed up by putting on a front.
Facade, yep.
Okay? And as they always say, you don't want to meet your heroes.
Yeah.
Because
you're gonna be disappointed.
Yes.
Yep. Exactly. Well, on that note,
Take
this is Muscle Matters. This is Steve, myself. We'll see you guys next week.